I wanted to give y'all a soft warning that in today's episode, we do talk about suicide. The passing of Jasa David Frank and Steven Twitch Boss had a huge impact on many of us. If you are struggling with your mental health, please know you are not alone and that there is help for you. Call 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. I will leave more resources in the description below. You are enough. You are more than enough. It's incredible how enough you are. Hey everybody, welcome to the Why the F Not podcast. This is episode 82. Welcome. Today my guest is another friend from Rockwell, Lana McKissack. Lana, just like Natalie, was one of the great performers of Rockwell back when it was at its heyday. I'm really excited to have her on the podcast. We only had her for not the 2-3 hour long podcast. Maybe next time. But sit back and enjoy the Why the F Not podcast with Lana McKissack. There. Dope. All right. Okay, so we're just going to jump into it. So, we're recording now, but just so you know, the Why the F Not podcast, we'll just talk about anything and everything. My curiosity leads me when it comes to just wanting to know more about your journey, who you are, what got you going, and what was it that made you go, why not? Why not do that? And what was that thing, But Lana, let's just start off with, hey, it's good to see you. And how you feeling? How you doing?
Good to see you, Steven. I am feeling great. I'm excited about the holidays. I'm feeling very, very Christmassy right now, I must say.
You feeling Christmassy? You just the memory of, you ever see that old what was it? What's her face? In Wizard of Oz. She played Dorothy. What was her name? I'm the worst.
Judy Garland?
Judy Garland. You ever see? No, it wasn't Judy. It was Judy's daughter, Eliza. You ever see her do "I Feel So Christmassy"? Ding-a-ling, 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 ding-a-ling.
I don't know that I have. It sounds vaguely familiar.
If you do, if you're ever feeling down this holiday season for any reason, you're like, the line's at the store, or I can't get tickets for Taylor Swift's concert. Google "I Feel Christmassy." It's it's very old school, and it's Eliza, I believe, with some man dressed up as her grandmother, and it's literally just like, "Oh, grandmother, I feel so Christmassy." Ding-a-ling, 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 and then the man in the dress just goes, "Bless you," and they just keep dancing along. And every time someone says, "I feel Christmassy," I'm like, "Oh, do you now?"
Yeah, I need to look that up. Yeah, it sounds sort of familiar, but now I feel like I'm thinking of June is busting out all over. That's what I'm picturing.
Another classic. Classic. All right. So, Lana, I'm glad you're doing well. I'm so glad you're here. So, like I was saying, this show is really about people doing, whatever they want, because why not? As long as you're not hurting anybody, of course, or yourself. And you yourself, I met you back in Rockwell. You're a singer, you're an actor, you're a voiceover. There's so many labels. I feel like that, so many hats you've put on over the years. But if I may ask, starting in one spot, is there a moment in your life, even, the earliest memory you can think of, when you just thought, why not? What was that for you?
You mean regarding performance?
It could be anything, like the moment, because, why not go for a performance, become an actor or a singer, anything. Like, when was that first time for you?
I don't think I ever was born thinking otherwise for whatever reason. Because I was born and raised here in LA, and I just remember, I don't even know if it was my choice at that point. Probably not, because I was so little, but I did my first commercial when I was 2, and then was a child actor. And I think, I don't know, it was just part of my normal life. It's what I did. But I've always loved it. I've always loved, I would, I think a lot of kids did this, but I would put on little shows in my living room for my family and anyone else who was fortunate enough to be subjected to that. And I was always singing and dancing. And I think I just was like, oh, this is fun. And then I kind of just started doing it right away. So, yeah, I guess I've always thought, why not?
What was that first commercial you did?
It was for like a toy store. It was like, yeah, I don't even remember. I think it was like, yeah, that's what my mom said. It was like a toy store commercial. But then I did a lot more commercials as a child. Yeah, I've never seen it. I don't know if I was any good in it. I was probably like, wah. I don't know. What do 2-year-olds do? They wah, right?
Great job, Lana. From the top, please. Can you just give us another wah with feeling this time?
I'm sorry. Wah!
Dig it. And I freaked out when I realized that you were the little girl in 4 rooms.
Yes.
Speaking of back there, I freaked out when I was like, wait, Lana from Rockwell? Wait, from what was the first thing I saw you in? The first thing I saw you in was Prada. Yeah. I was like, that's her? Flipped out, dude. Flipped out. And I was like, oh, that's why she's my favorite actor at Rockwell. Got it.
Very sweet. Yeah, that was definitely a highlight of my childhood. I loved it.
You got to drink as a child. Well, you're portraying like you were drinking.
Yeah, checking. I think it was Martinelli's. I think that's what was actually in there.
Oh, nice.
Which I still enjoy. Martinelli's is delicious. I had some the other day.
That's the go-to drink, I think, for me, for celebrating. Like, alcohol's fun, but I feel bloated, you know? I'm just like, ugh. I don't want to deal with the aftermath of the alcohol, so just give me Martinelli's.
I mean, I'm definitely going to go for the champagne first, but I was at like a holiday party, and I hadn't eaten, and there wasn't any food. And I was like, if I continue to drink alcohol, I'm going to die here. So I switched to Martinelli's. And then food came and I went back to the alcohol.
Ah, fair enough. Always take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, rad. So, I mean, so then if you were if you were thrown into the world of entertainment just at such a young age of 2, then, if that was your norm, was there ever a point growing up where you were like, I want to try something else? That made it seem dangerous, or maybe like people around you were like, oh, are you sure? You know, why you want to do? Was there ever anything like that for you?
No, I've always wanted to be a performer. That's all I ever wanted to do. There was a brief period of time where I wanted to be a Foley artist because I would go on the Universal Studios tour, and there was like, at that time, there was a special part where it was like a show. It was like a Foley show, and they'd show you how they made footsteps and all the different creative ways they would make certain sounds. And I was like, that's what I want to do. I still kind of want to do it. I think it's fascinating. But yeah, besides that, no, I don't know. I just always loved all the aspects of performing. Yeah.
What a fun specific niche to be so intrigued by when it comes to the entertainment industry. Because like no one really thinks of the Foley artists, who are artists through and through.
Oh my God, they're so creative. It's outrageous when you look at some of the things they use to make sounds that you're like, oh, well, that seems so easy. But then when they do the actual sound, it doesn't sound right. So they have to find something that sounds like what it is more than what it is sounds like itself. That makes sense. It's amazing.
Like they'll have dress shoes and they'll be like, all right, we're walking on pavement. Well, we got to get something that feels more like stone or more like gravel, more like grass.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're incredible. I have such respect for Foley artists. And I also think it's a fun job because I'm sure there are days when it just gets like boring. Okay, we know how to do this. We've done it a million times. But I think coming up with the new stuff must be just so exciting.
Oh, I bet. You know Blue's Clues? Do you know the show Blue's Clues with Steve? Good old Steve. I saw an interview with him talking about that when he was in the show. He tried to bring in this genuine sense of of discovery in whatever he was doing, whether if it was discovering a graham cracker for the first time, you know, because like the viewers were doing that. I wonder, like, I feel like as artists, I feel like that's the kind of approach, no matter what kind of art you're doing, right? It's good to go in with that sense of innocent discovery and curiosity.
Totally. Yeah, it's a great way to look at life in general, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, man. So, Lana, what's been going on since Rockwell? Like, it's been years since Rockwell shut its doors over in Los Angeles, but I saw you were doing a haunted show. You just did a haunted show? I mean, you're doing a bunch of stuff. I'm just speaking mostly about the stuff you're doing live on stage. What was that haunted show you just did, like the Halloween show? Yeah,
it was called Horror Camp. That was a live show that was done at the Bourbon Room. We did it last year as well, so this was the second year, but it was a whole new script and a mostly new cast, mainly because of scheduling conflicts. But the new cast is amazing, and it was, as was the old. And it was just so much fun. It's a musical parody of horror movies. So you have, last year we had like actual horror movie characters, but this year it's like its own thing. It's these two killers who always go to Camp Hackett-a-Bits, and it's like their Christmas is murdering all these campers. And the counselors are in on it, and it's just a tradition. And the parents of these kids willingly send their children off to be slaughtered every year. And it's just this ridiculous world that we all love in horror movies, but mixed with your favorite like anthem rock songs and amazing dancers. It was so fun. Chad McMillan, co-wrote and co-directed it. And it's just awesome. Yeah, it was so fun. It was just, what a fun experience. I can't wait to do it again next year. Fingers crossed.
And it seems like a family. Like Nathan, you know, your husband, but like you have Chad there, and y'all have been working together. Well, you and Nathan are married, but I mean, like Chad, did you meet Chad for the first time in Rockwell? Was that the first time y'all met?
Yeah, Chad was brought in as our costume designer for Troop Beverly Hills, which was the second show I had done, the first being Devil Wears Prada. And he just created these insane costumes. He's so talented. And over the years, he started doing so many other things, stage managing, just like everything in the production space. He was like, he'd run lights sometimes, he'd do sound, he would design a lot of those elements as well, and continued to do costumes. So he was kind of like wearing 500 different hats at any given moment. So depending on the show, you know, he'd have to fill in for this or that. And eventually, you know, he started directing more things and writing more things. And he actually did the first iteration of Horror Camp at Rockwell. But at that time, it was more of a musical review. Like Matheny, if you remember, I don't know if you saw it, but he sang Creep. And God, who was he? Was he like Jason Voorhees, maybe? Can't remember. He sang the whole thing in this costume, and I mean, he has the most incredible voice, so obviously that was amazing. But then you're just looking at him dressed as a movie murderer, and it's just very funny. And but then it morphed into an actual show with a plot, and turned into this other amazing thing. But yeah, Chad, we met there, and we've just continued. He's basically like a part of our marriage, I'd say. We see him all the time. He's the best.
Chad's a lovely person. Amongst all those roles he plays, when it comes to, professional, he's also the person who introduced me to cannabis back in the day at Rockwell.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What? Yeah. He'd just be like, hey, just take the pen. Just take the pen. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'll take the pen. I'll go to my post. I'll go watch the show now.
Well, I'm sure he'll be very proud to know that. He's still quite a fan of the cannabis.
For you, Chad, thank you for introducing me to that, because before that I was like, no, it's not for me, man. nah, man, dope is for dopes. I don't do that. And then life changes.
Yeah, it's funny that you had like a whole accent and everything back then. Like I don't do that. Changed your whole manner of speaking.
That's what happens when you're straight edge. You just become a little bit more hot edge. You're like, I don't do that. Okay, dope is for dopes. I was a dare kid back in the day. DARE. What it stand for? I don't know.
What did it stand for? I don't remember, but it said dare to say no to drugs. It's got to be like drug and alcohol.
I just thought drugs are really exciting.
That seems to be promoting the wrong message. Drugs and alcohol. Resistance education.
Resistance education.
Oh no.
So they're like, don't just resist it. Like you can have a little bit, but just
now I have to look it up. I'm dying to know.
Let's see.
Dare.
What's dare?
It means drug abuse resistance education.
You were on the money there.
Oh, close. I said drug and alcohol, but okay.
So alcohol is fine for the dare people.
Yes, yeah.
Unless drugs.
That's true. They never talked about alcohol. It was all drugs. Because I think with alcohol, their whole point was moderation's okay, but then with drugs, it was like, don't touch it, don't look at it, don't think about it. Dare.
Now, and I'm also hearing in podcasts, like there's this doctor guy on a podcast talking about like, oh yeah, clean cocaine's fine for you. And heroin? Heroin's fine. Kicking heroin's like a flu.
Just like a quote unquote doctor?
He's a legitimate doctor. Hold up. No, he was on Joe Rogan's podcast talking about mushrooms and psychedelics and stuff. And this guy's
Psychedelics are being studied medically for all kinds of conditions, but cocaine, I don't know. That seems just like bad advice.
I mean, cocaine used to be in Coca-Cola. They were like, go for it.
Yeah, it's not anymore because it's a terrible idea.
Sugar's way better for you than cocaine.
That's true. Just as bad.
I'm not saying we should all go do cocaine and heroin. I'm just saying if you do heroin, getting off of it is like a flu. That's what I hear. I don't know. I don't touch that. Again, dope is for dopes. Okay?
Dope is for dopes. DARE.
Dope is for dopes. DARE. Dare to be different.
Yeah. Good. I love it.
Oh, man. Well, dang. Personally, like, I feel like I had so many things I wanted to talk to you about and ask you questions, like my curiosity, but I got so thrown off. Like, it's been a gnarly month and a half. Not like, and trigger warning for anyone, because I'm about to bring up something a little heavy, but just with Twitch's passing, he took his own life. And then we had JDF just recently, Jason David Frank, Tommy Oliver from the Power Rangers. And then did you hear about the guy who threw himself off the Disneyland parking lot?
Oh, when was that?
That was within this last month.
Oh, no.
And it's all men. It's all men. And I don't know, man, like, all I'm going to say is that, guys, we need to talk about our stuff. We got to talk about it. Like, I hope Nathan has his sources to talk to, and all that good stuff. Because, man, shit's wild out there right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough time. And I recommend therapy to everyone. I'm in therapy. It has been very beneficial to me. And if not a therapist, definitely find someone to talk to, because I think a lot of us are told to suck it up, or even if we're not told, we just kind of somehow feel that that's the right path. Like, there are people suffering through much worse, which is often true, but it's all relative, and your struggles are valid, and you should always have someone to talk to about them, because you don't talk about something for long enough, it builds up. And there is help out there, and I think we should all be striving to be open about our struggles, because we all have them.
Yeah, and validate each other's struggles. I feel like whenever you tell someone something that, you're going through something, and they're like, no, put it away. Like, you don't gotta feel like that. I feel like that's just them rejecting what you're expressing because it's making them uncomfortable. So you gotta be aware of who you're talking to. You can't always share everything with anyone. Yeah.
No, definitely not. You need to find your people, or find a professional if that's what's right for you. Definitely don't just go around opening up to anyone, because you don't know anyone's motives or their life or how they're going to react.
Not at all.
Hopefully everyone has someone in their life they can trust with that kind of information.
Yeah. Well, thanks for whatchamacallit for entertaining me, just opening up that conversation. I felt like for me, it was like the elephant in the room for me. I was like, I just got to talk about this for a second. I just got to let it out. I was before this, I was like, all right, should I warn Lana that I may cry? No, just if you cry, cry. Don't worry about it. Don't say anything.
Crying is natural and beautiful. I do it all the time.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But like for men though, it's hard. Like men are always told, man up, whatever that shit means, right?
Yeah, I hate that. And I hope that tides are changing, because that's just, it helps no one for men to think that they have to hold that in, and then the repercussions of that can be really terrible. When you feel like you don't have an outlet and you're not allowed to be who you are, lead to some very destructive behavior.
Yeah, that's what we need. Love. Because speaking of love, have you seen the latest Jim Beam commercial from Spain, I think?
Oh.
Oh my God, Lana. This commercial took me by surprise. So let me just paint you this picture. Ready? Jim Beam commercial. It opens up like a really dramatic Budweiser commercial that you'd see on the Super Bowl, right? Opens up with a grandfather, an older man, with his wife in their home, and he's sneaking off to the bathroom when he sees his wife's lipstick hanging out from her purse. He takes it to the bathroom, and you see him practicing, putting it on him, and you're just wondering, like, what's going on? Is this man just trying to express himself? And you continue watching, and you see him looking at magazines, trying on different products, looking at like ads on the bus stop, and just like looking at like the eyeshadow on the model of the advertisement. And he's hiding it all. And you're just wondering, what's going on? And then here comes the holiday season, right? His family shows up, and you see that, an older couple, like younger than this older man, this elderly man. So like maybe his kids, and they have kids who are around 20 years old, right? And you see them all coming up, and you see on the screen the name of one of the people. So it says like Alvaro. I forgot. I had a weird accent on it, but it said Alvaro 26. And then they go have dinner, and then the grandfather takes Alvaro to the bathroom, locks the door, and starts putting makeup on Alvaro, because he notices that Alvaro is, male, but that Alvaro is actually trying to express himself as her. And he, the grandfather, was learning all these things about makeups so that he can help Alvaro get his makeup on.
Oh, that makes me cry. That's so sweet.
They walk out of the bathroom, and she's reintroduced as Anna. And I'm looking at Stephanie. I'm like, isn't this beautiful? She goes, this is Jim Beam?
What? That's
Jim Beam?
Amazing. I'm not sure what it has to do with Scotch.
They like cheered at the end, and then the message was about the spirit of Christmas, or the spirit of the holidays isn't something that we have to wait for one day or something. It was all in Spanish, But
that's beautiful. I love that. That's really cool. I'm gonna look that up.
I'm hoping the more and more, because it's not like people in the LGBTQIA plus community like popped out of nowhere. Like, we've had gay, lesbian, trans people all over the spectrum since the beginning of times. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, did you know that the Spartans were actually like, they practiced homosexual sex regularly?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of homoeroticism in ancient Greek culture as well. Like, it was just part of life, and then at some point, people were like, "Oh, wait, you can't call it that," and then it became, what it is now, where everyone's shouting Bible verses, and you're like, "Wait a minute, this is, yeah." it's very upsetting. It's crazy how much progress has been made and yet how much there is to go. It's just like, I don't know if do you follow Drew Droege on social media?
Drew, he was also in Prada, right?
Yes. Yeah, he was one of the two people who played Miranda Priestley. He just posted a couple days ago about how he went on a date to a restaurant. I don't remember the name of the restaurant now, and I don't want to say the wrong one. But he was like, I think like in the middle or at the end of their meal, they were just like giving each other little pecks, as you do when you're on a date and you've had a good night. And a manager came over and told him that it was a family restaurant and that what he was doing was inappropriate. He was looking around at like all the other couples that were in the restaurant doing exactly the same thing, but those couples were heterosexual. Anyway, he posted this thing about it online, and obviously, and as they should be, the restaurant received a lot of backlash, and then they put out something that was like a not apology. Yeah. And then I think finally today they said, look, this person's been fired. We stand behind LGBTQ rights. We always have. And this was a mistake. But you just think it's 2022 and it's Los Angeles. And it's just kind of crazy that someone can say, you can't kiss each other because this is a family restaurant. So you're saying they don't constitute what is needed to make up a family. It's sad. And, you know, anytime someone says the word like traditional values to me now, it's kind of as a red flag. Like, we want to go back to traditional, because that's not, you don't mean traditional in the sense of like wholesome. You mean traditional in the sense of the way it's always been, one man and one woman. Because wholesome can be a man and a man, a woman and a woman, non-binary, or a mixture of any. It's a sad place to be, I think. But I'm glad that it got so much attention. I saw it pop up in the news today, so I'm good, because when people do things like that, they should be called out, and hopefully more change will come.
Personally, I don't think that person should have been fired. I feel like a conversation could have been had and growth could have been done, you know? Like, I don't know, like when you go to like when people go to family dinners, right? And you have that one family member who has those, we should be more traditional, quote unquote, whatever that means, right, to them. And they start saying all these hateful things. I don't think we should kick them out of the dinner table. I feel like we should talk, you know, like if we can, and try to figure out like what's the core of this hatred, this judgment you have. Because it's not like the LGBTQ community is going to everyone else who's not in that community and being like, hey, you're straight, don't be straight. Hey, you identify as that? No, identify as this. They're just being themselves. And I don't know why those quote unquote traditional people feel so enthused to say, hey, stop it. Stop living your life.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the only difference is if you're sitting around with your family, that's a great opportunity to make it a learning moment. And, you know, I think especially with the older generations, to say, look, I know that when you were growing up and for most of your life, this is what you were told to believe. And so you just believed it, but there's perhaps the way you should be thinking. But in a situation where it's a business and it's like, this is a manager and he's representing the business, I think it makes sense to say your behavior is unacceptable and you can't work here anymore. I think that's okay.
That's very right.
Yeah. I mean, I do think a lot of things can be not solved, but aided by conversation with people who you love and respect. I think if you're trying to change someone's mind, they don't know you, or they don't love you, like, they're probably not going to listen to you. But we all have relatives and even friends who have different beliefs from us. And I think when those beliefs border on hatred of any group of people, it is important to talk about it and as with as much love as possible, because I don't believe that anyone is born just evil or hateful. I really don't. If that's true, maybe a very, very small 0.0000001% of people. I think most people are taught things and, adapt their beliefs to their circumstances, and that can go a great way or it can go a terrible way. And I think, not everything can be solved by talking, obviously. There are definitely people who, while they're not born evil, commit acts of evil, horrible atrocities, and I don't think they could be reasoned with. But I do think for the majority of people, it's not like they just grew up hating others and wanting to hurt others. It was like they were conditioned that way, and maybe they can be unconditioned.
You ever watch Big Brother, Lana?
Not once. No. Oh, no, that's not true. I watched the season that Marissa Jarrett Winokur was on.
Nah, okay, right on.
Watched clips from that to cheer her on.
Okay, right on. Well, Big Brother is a beautiful, trashy TV show that Stephanie, my girlfriend, got me into. And we're watching this old season that just popped up on Netflix, season 14 from 2012. And
oh, wow. How many seasons have there been?
Girl, oh my God. First off, the one that Marissa was on, I believe that was the first year they did Celebrity Big Brother in the States.
Oh, okay.
So they've done Celebrity Big Brother UK, and I think they've done it in Big Brother, was it Big Brother UK and Big Brother Australia? I forgot. But that was our first time having Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
So imagine 2012. Oh, you're good. Imagine going back to 2012 and how open-minded we were back then. And you see not just, okay, so if you watch Big Brother now this season, right? A lot of representation, a lot of diversity when it comes to the cast members. Back then, though, a lot of bros, a lot of white chads, a lot of white girls, maybe a couple black people here and there. Maybe they get voted out quick. Like, you're like, what's going on? Why'd you have to vote her out? Okay, right. Whatever. But anyways, in this season, there's a cast member, one of the house guests who's lesbian. And then she was talking, they were all having one of their chats, right? When they're all just hanging out and they're getting to know each other. And the cast member who is lesbian, she starts telling them about her, what her experience has been growing up and all that stuff, just sharing about herself. And then this girl from Alabama, she's like, oh, I don't know how I was going to feel about that one girl who was lesbian, because I just thought I stay away from lesbians because I think they're just going to hit on me. They're going to make me feel different. And talking to her, I guess it had me thinking differently. And I'm like, there it is. Look at that. All those preconceived notions you had gone, because
I do feel like if you've never met someone who's different from you, and that applies to not just sexuality, but also ethnicity, like any number of things. If you've not met someone who looks different from you or who has a different lifestyle from you, then you might have all kinds of preconceived notions based on what you've been told by whatever news outlet you watch or your family or whatever. And then you meet one person who is just like you, except they look different or they love someone different, and you go, oh wait, I thought you were going to be someone entirely opposite from who you are. You're just like me. I think it really can change your entire perspective. And I do think that's why, college is such a great part of life. If that's something you choose to do, it can really open your eyes to people you may not ever have met before in your hometown or in your friend group. You start to see, wow, these people might be so different from me and yet so much alike. It's remarkable how quickly your mind can change, I think, just from what I've seen. But yeah, that's a perfect example of that.
Yeah, come on, y'all. Let's just talk to each other. Have a conversation. Because I feel like we're so... and okay, you said earlier that we've come so far. It's 2022, but still we have so far to go still. I think the more progress we see, the more we're going to be aware of how regressed we actually are.
That's a great point. I think that's true. I think there are certainly things that I look at now and I look like, even in my childhood, it was not uncommon to say, oh, that's so gay, as a, just a throwaway like line. Mm-hmm. And now I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe we said that's so gay, because the implication is that's so bad or that's so stupid or whatever you were using it for. I would never say that now, but I never thought about it then because I didn't associate it in that way. I didn't mean like homosexuality is anything. It was just like a commonplace thing. But that's the thing about a lot of our behaviors is they're unconscious, and when they just get passed around, we don't think enough about them. Even the R word that, I certainly as a child, people said it all the time, like, oh, that's so this or so that, as an insult. And now I'm like, God, it's so horribly offensive, and it never even occurred to me that it would be. Why didn't it occur to me? Like, you're right. The more progress we make, the more we go, oh, I've really messed up in a big way. And thank God, someone pointed it out at some point, or came to the realization that that's not okay.
I mean, we just have to be aware that life's about growing and changing and learning and adapting. And society is always flowing fluid as the people within that community and whatnot. But if you stay stagnant in the way you think, if you just start walking around saying, no, I am how I am and that's it, well, you're going to be pretty miserable if you are who you are and that's it. Like, you're done? Yeah. You're done? That's it?
You're done growing as a person? Cool. Good for you.
Good. How does that feel? Are you bored? Do you have a hobby?
Yeah.
All right. So I don't want to keep you too long because I don't know how this next segment's going to go, because this is an actual official segment for the show. It's the Inside the Actor Studio segment where I have those 10 questions from the show that James would ask every guest. Are you familiar with the show at all?
With his show?
Mm-hmm. Inside the Actor Studio?
I've seen many clips of it over the years. It's been a while, but yes.
Well, beautiful. Well, these are going to be familiar questions for you. They're the 10 questions he would ask at the end of every interview. And don't feel like you have to answer so quickly. Like, if one question, guys, think about it, How do you feel about, whatever the answer is? But let's get it going, because, again, I don't know how long this takes, and I don't want to keep you for too long. So, Lana, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Dope. All right, here we go then. First question. What is your favorite word?
My favorite word is... favorite word? Maybe... love? I love love. I don't know. I'm a sucker for love. I love telling my friends I love them. My husband, my family. I love talking about things I love. I love love.
Dig it. Well, that's wonderful. I think we should tell our friends we love them more. I love you, Lana. Thank you for being here with me.
We need
to. Heck yeah. We need to normalize that more.
100%.
Next question. What is your least favorite word?
My least favorite word, I'm going to spell it because I hate saying it. I'm very uncomfortable.
Oh.
Is Pube. I hate it. I hate that liquid U. I don't even like it. Like, my ex-boyfriend before I met Nathan was a British guy, and the store Puma in England was called Puma.
Ooh.
No, unacceptable. Do not pronounce it like that. It's Puma, okay? There's something about it. I just, yeah, can't stand it.
All right, dig it. Thank you. Next question. What turns you on emotionally, mentally, or spiritually?
Turns me on is a challenge. I love coming across something that either I think maybe I can't do or would be really difficult, and then doing it. I find such joy and satisfaction in that. So yeah, I'm very, and even in friendships and romantic relationships, I've always been very attracted to people who challenge me with humor or with ideas. I love that like flirtatious sparring that you have when you first find someone who's like a good match for you. Love it. There's nothing like that.
Dig it. Right on. Next question. What turns you off emotionally, spiritually, or mentally?
People who are mean turn me off immediately. I feel like there's a tendency in modern society to be mean and to be sarcastic. And I love sarcasm. I think it can be very funny, and not at the expense of another person. I do not like when people tear others down. I don't get any joy out of that. I don't like mean people. I never have. If somebody is mean to someone and I see it, I'm instantly like, well, that person's not going to be in my life. I hate it.
Right on. Thank you. Next question. What sound or noise do you love?
I love laughter. Laughter is so contagious, and I love the sound of people laughing. Blooper reels make me laugh. Just pure joy, and when people aren't holding back, those real guttural laughs are, I think, my favorite sound.
Nice. Right on. Next question. What sound or noise do you hate?
Whistling. I cannot stand it. It pierces my brain.
Oh.
Ooh. I don't know. It's interesting because it's not something I grew up hating, but in the last maybe 10 years or so, I'd say I can't handle it. There are certain songs where if it's like mixed and mastered enough and put into the background, it's fine. But if someone's in a car next to me and they start whistling, I feel like someone's stabbing me with an ice pick. It's very visceral. I don't know why. I know some people have misophonia, like with chewing. I don't have that, but this is my version of that. It really hurts me, and I don't know why. It's bizarre, but it's true.
Do any other kinds of tones that are similar to whistling hit you the same way, or is it only specifically whistling?
It's specifically whistling, and one of my favorite sounds is Mariah Carey singing whistle tones.
Oh.
It's different. It's not the right frequency. There's something about whistling, and I know that my dad, when I was growing up, he would hate whistling too. So I don't know if it's a genetic thing, because I didn't hate it until, like I said, like 10 years ago. It just one day just started hurting me physically. So I don't know why.
Maybe it's a gene you got from your dad, and it just awoke. It's awake.
It must be, because I don't know anyone else who has it. I'm sure other people do, but I've just not met anyone. And I feel sad because, there are plenty of people in my life who love to whistle, and I'm like, I'm not going to tell them to stop. So I just sit there like twitching.
No.
Or I'll try to be subtle. Like if I'm in a car with someone who's whistling, sometimes I'll just be like putting, like resting my ear against my hand and looking up, or I'll like open the window a little bit and just pretend like, oh, look at these beautiful trees. But really I'm like, please stop this.
Hey, stop whistling. Look at these trees real quick. Oh, it's beautiful. Don't worry, but just look. Stop. Shh, shh, shh.
Let's take in the silence. It's silence is so beautiful.
All right, noted. Don't whistle next to Lana.
No, that's what I mean. I don't want to take away anyone else's joy. It's totally a me thing, but it is what it is.
So interesting. Dig it. Thank you. All right. All right. This is a good one. Next question. What is your favorite curse word?
Fuck. Love a good fuck. Love the word fuck. Oh no.
There it is.
I stand by it.
If we have any captions for this, I'll just put fuck in quotations. Love a good the word fuck. Fuck.
Yeah. There's just nothing like it. That it's the F and the CK. You can just hit them so hard. It's like it can be joyful. It can be angry. It can be anything in between. It's a perfect word.
See, we don't have to use the R word. We got so many other great words.
Oh, there's so many. Yeah. Namely that one. But yeah, there's many more.
Dig it. All right. Next question. What's your next favorite curse word? No.
Should we just rank them all?
Top 5. Go. Speed round. No. Next question is, what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Other than Foley artist? Yeah. I am a secret adrenaline junkie. So I think I would love to be like a stunt person. I don't think I ever would because I don't have the skills, but I love that thrill. Like I love skydiving. I love driving fast. Oh no, maybe that's it. Maybe I'd be like an F1 driver. That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Because I think with stunts, obviously, there's a risk of injury in both those things. But I think the driving, it's like if I had the skill, which I don't, but if I did and I practiced really hard, just the thrill of like racing around a track. I do like competition. That's the one. I'd be a race car driver professionally.
Nice. That was a journey you took me on.
It was. I know.
You started off as Foley artist and then you just like went off and you're like, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna be a race car driver.
Yeah. Because I realized halfway through that I feel like stunt people get injured so frequently. Even they're all so great, but like even the best of the best still can get like severely injured. I know you can also die in a car crash, so I recognize that there's, there are risks to both. But yeah, I got excited when I thought about driving cars, so that's why I changed my answer.
Nice. Follow your gut. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. Next question. What profession would you not like to do?
Would not like to do telemarketing. In college at UCLA, I worked in the telefundraising building, which was not telemarketing. It was calling alumni and asking for donations to the school. So you weren't selling anything, but you were like, hi, I'm Lana. I'm a student here at UCLA. I wanted to see if you would be in a position to make a contribution to give back to the school that made you. And you'd start with the top, I think the top level at that time was like $2,500. And it was like the Chancellor's Circle or something. It was called something like that. And for a $2,500 donation, you'd get like parking stuff, seating for events, games, access to the gym, like all kinds of things. But you'd also be making a huge difference in a lot of people's lives. Here's where the money would go. And then if they were like, absolutely not, then you were told to go to the next one, which is $1,000. And you say, okay, great. I totally get it. $2,500 is a lot of money, but for $1,000, you can still make a huge difference. And here's what that would get you. And then they're like, no, I'm not giving you $1,000. And you'd go, I get it. I know that's so much money, but $500 would make it. And you were trained to have answers to anything that people said as far as reasons for why they don't want to give you money. But it was a fun job initially. And then there came a point where I just started to feel very sad because people would start telling me, like there was a guy I talked to who said, I usually donate every year, but my wife passed away from cancer this year and we just don't have the fun. I'm just trying to figure my life out. And I just was like crying. I'm like, I'm so sorry to bother you. I'm so sorry for your loss. And I, at the time you, I don't know how it is now, but you weren't allowed to just say this person said no, because, there's a whole system. You had to get a manager on the phone to confirm that the person said no. This was so that people didn't just go, no, they said no, they said no, they said no. It was like they had to confirm, and then they would, if you wanted to be taken off the list, they would take you off the list. But the manager had to do that. So anyway, I said, if you want to be taken off the list, I have to have a manager do it. Is that something you'd want? And he's like, no, you can just take me off the list. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't have the authority to do that, but I don't want to bother you. I know you're going through stuff. Let me just transfer you to him. He'll be right here. And he goes, drop dead. I was like, and then he hung up. And at the same time, I was like very sad and hurt because I'm like, I understand you're going through a lot and I want to help you. But I also have such compassion for him. Like he, I think, thought I was still trying to upsell him or something by being like, let me get my manager on the phone to talk some sense into you. I think that's what he thought was happening. So anyway, after that happened, I was like, I don't like this. I don't like how this feels. There are definitely people who are so good at it and who can do it without like feeling bad, but I'm not one of those people. I'm definitely far too sensitive for that. So at a certain point, I quit. Anyway, that was my 500-hour answer to what job I don't want. I don't want to telemarketing because it would be that kind of feeling, but without the, well, at least I'm raising money for my school element. It would just be people who hate you and hang up on you and yell at you.
Ugh. And like, yeah, woof. That guy was just going through it. You called him on a bad time. Jeez.
Yeah, and of course. Like I wanted nothing more than to say we will never bother you again. But I couldn't, I didn't have I couldn't hit the code to like take him off the list. Ugh,
look,
tough.
Bob, I'm not trying to sell you stuff. I'm sorry for your loss. I just need my manager here to confirm that you don't want to be here, and then I'll leave you. Please, Bob.
Exactly. That's word for word what I said, but Bob was not happy. I understand. It's very shitty to have to go through something like that.
Shout out, Bob. This is for you, buddy. Hope you're doing better today. Do you want to donate? No, I'm just kidding. Don't. I had to try one more. Just in case for you, You never know. You'd still be up for it. You froze for a second there, so I thought you were just flabbergasted by what I just said. You were just like...
We'll go with that. I was shocked.
All right, dig it. Well, final question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say as you enter the pearly gates?
I would want God to say, everybody's here. Because if there is an afterlife, I'm very excited by the prospect of reconnecting with certain people.
Beautiful. All right.
Just got emo. I have tears in my eyes.
No, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I'd like to see my dad again.
I didn't want to ask when he passed away, but I was wondering, like when you brought him up, and see, that's why you don't like whistling. He's still with you. He's like, doesn't whistling suck, Lana? I told you it sucks.
He's haunting me that in one specific way. He passed in 2010. It's been a while, but when it's your parent, like that pain never goes away. It just gets easier to live with.
No, yeah, I heard, with grief, a couple of things I heard about it. One, grief is all that love we have for that person that we lost. We still have that love, but they're gone, and now we grieve, right?
Yeah, we can't express it, and we can't receive it back.
No. And at the same time, it's not a pain that will go away, but like I heard this too, it's just a pain that gets familiar. You get familiar with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
Well, thank you for sharing with that. Thank you so much. Dig that vulnerability. Very safe space here. Safe space. And now that we got to the end of the podcast, now it's you have so much going on. So please, this is your chance to just take the floor and just what do you got going on, Lana? Where can people see you? Where can they check out what you're on? Any holiday movies to go check out? Please.
Yeah. Well, I don't know when this will be coming out, but if it's before Christmas, then A Christmas Movie Christmas, which I did back in 2019, is back out again. It's on Hulu right now. I think it's also, you can rent it on like Amazon, and it's on Hallmark Movies now as well, I believe. It's on Up TV. I don't know when it airs next, but at some point. That was a movie that I shot in 2019 in Michigan in the snow, and it was magical, and I loved it. And I love that movie. So that would be my holiday recommendation. I've done a few other holiday movies that are re-airing this year, but I don't know where. I don't know when. So that's helpful. And then besides that, this has been the year of voiceover for me. I've been working on an animated series that I can't talk about at all, except to say I've been working on it for a year, and it will come out next year. I think toward the end of next year. And it's a children's animated series. So I will spread the word on that once I'm allowed to say anything. And then the other thing that I also can't talk about, wow, this is fun, isn't it? To really talk about things I can't talk about, is a video game that I've now been working on for close to 2 years and won't come out for another year and a half probably. But this project is my first time doing motion capture, which has been so fun and such a learning curve for me. It's a very different skill from any other type of acting, which I thought I had at least experienced a touch of all of it. Like, I got my degree in musical theater and I love doing live shows, but I've also been doing film and TV and commercials since I was a child, and voiceover a lot more regularly recently. But motion capture is a different beast, and it's so fun, and I hope to do more and more and more of it. But this video game, when it comes out, I will tell you all about it. And I'm excited. It's exciting. That's it as far as new things.
Right on.
Yeah.
And then there's a podcast you're a part of, a scripted podcast you did voiceover work for, right?
Oh, yeah, there are a few. There's one called Last Known Position, which was a Q Code podcast. And that was with Gina Rodriguez as the lead. It had an awesome cast, and it's very exciting, very thrilling. I recommend that. It's up for some podcast awards right now. I don't know a ton about that world, so I don't know what the name of the award is, but very exciting for everyone involved. Then I did a podcast called Broken Road, which I was the lead of, and that was really fun as well. I got to play this badass farmer, and in a futuristic world. I recommend that as well. And I'm about to start on a new one next month, I believe. So more info on that once they announce it.
Right on. Well, thank you, Lana. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Heck
It's
yeah.
so nice to see your face. You look exactly the same, even though it's been, I don't know how many years since I've actually seen you.
Yeah, likewise. Likewise. You look the same. It's like, yeah, that's Lana. Yeah, same as before. It was wonderful to talk to you, Lana. It's good to hang out, good to connect, good to just hear everything you've got going on. And it was a pleasure. Thanks, Lana.
You too, Steven. Say hello to Stephanie for me. And I hope to see you in real life.
Hopefully at a live show. I want to see Nathan too, and Chad, and the whole group. And I want to see them all.
Yeah. Gotta catch them all.
All right, Pokemon. Take care.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
We made it to the end. Yo, look at that. It's the outro. Well, I hope you enjoyed the episode. It was a good time. I know I had fun. God, I love reconnecting with old friends. I love hearing what they've got going on. It's cool I don't know about y'all, but I like surrounding myself with people who I can feel inspired by. And I hope, I can give back a little bit of that flicker of light and inspiration back, because it's uplifting. I don't know about y'all. It's uplifting for me with all these things going on in the world. And I know we brought up some dark stuff like the passing of Twitch and JDF. So again, if you need help of any kind, dial 988. Okay, I know it can be really, really scary out there. And if this is gonna be coming out before Christmas, yeah, checking with the producers, yeah, it'll be coming out before Christmas. So don't forget to check out Lana's latest Christmas movie. Well, not latest, 2019, but you can watch it right now. Go check that out. Check out Lana's Instagram to find all the information and how you can find her, and where you can listen to her voice. You can watch her on screen, watch her on stage. And then Google Steven Brogan Cortez. Go Google that. Go to my link tree. Have fun there. Go see what's there. Always more content being uploaded. Oh yeah, and most importantly, let's not forget that you are enough. You are more than enough. It's incredible how enough you are. Okay? Bye. I'm gone. I'm leaving. Oh, it's starting to look like Christmas everywhere you go. Ba-be-de-de-boo-da-boo. Boo-boo-ba-boo-ba-boo. Ba-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-boo.